Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. The MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 114, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and once again, joining me to my right or left, I don't know, because he's in Southern California and I'm in Northern California, but his name is Brian Hall, regardless.
Hey! What's going on, Zaki?
It's going.
Yeah?
It is daylight out, which is kind of a weird situation to be in while we're recording this show. It's
fantastic. It feels like whenever there's a daylight savings time, it's always like the conversation, people who are for it or against it.
Yeah.
And I understand. I understand both sides of the coin, but at the same time, I love when it's light outside.
Yeah, I mean, the whole question is we lose an hour, but I mean, I like it being bright later.
There's something to be said about walking out of work at the end of the day and there still being sunlight left. You're just like, okay, because I actually really do think about this. Like, there are times when I'm at home and I get home from work and it's dark and I'm like, the day's over, and it's like 6:30. It's like, no, there's like plenty of time, plenty of day left.
Yeah.
But then when it's summer and the light is out till like 9, it can be like 7:30, and you're like, I still got time.
Yeah,
you have to do whatever you want to do. So it mentally, I know I prefer it. But
the one downside for me is that when it gets dark earlier, that lets you send the kids to bed earlier.
I see.
So because now the sun doesn't go down until like 8, right? Or something like that.
That's funny. I actually do have memories of my parents when I was younger, them putting me to bed and it was still light outside, and it was like a horrible feeling.
Yeah, see, exactly. And so we have to balance that too. So it's interesting how the parenting aspect, how it enters into every aspect of your decision making. It's interesting. Not good or bad, just different.
Yeah, different factors.
Different factors, exactly. It's funny. I was one thing I've sort of chronicled on this show is watching my kids grow up and become burgeoning movie nerds.
Yeah,
which is a lot of fun. Earlier this week we watched an older film called Escape from Alcatraz. Have you seen this movie?
Wow, that like literally came up this afternoon with a friend and me in an email exchange.
That's
today.
That's extraordinary. Wow.
Yeah. All right, go on.
I'm just curious, in what context did that come up?
Because there was an article on AV Club talking about The Rock.
Okay.
Like they're going through years and action films, and I guess around 96, and they were talking about The Rock. Uh-huh. And she sent it to me, and I was just like, yeah, I love The Rock. And we were then like, oh, remember Escape from Alcatraz? Because we were saying in the gift shop of Alcatraz, you remember? Because we went there together.
You, me, and Sean, yeah.
Yeah, and they sold The Rock on DVD in there, which I thought was amusing. And I guess they sell Escape from Alcatraz too.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Anyway, so that was the connection. So
yeah, I was watching that with the kids, and it's fun. I mean, because it's PG, but it's like it's a much darker film than you would expect would get a PG,
Yeah, I mean, is it pretty like brutal, the prison life kind of aspect of it? I don't remember it very well.
It's brutal by implication, really. I think there's one scene, however, where somebody who kind of breaks gets a hatchet and like cuts off a guard's fingers, and so you get like the split-second shot of these like little sausages being sliced off, And I'm like, ooh. Like my wife got mad at me. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's PG. It's just PG. The rating misled me,
Yeah.
But it's funny because one of the characters in the film, and unfortunately his name escapes me, but he's, I'm watching it. It's, first of all, it stars Clint Eastwood. This is from like the early 70s or late 70s. Sorry, this is from 1979. It stars Clint Eastwood, and it's a really good movie if you haven't seen it. Fred Ward is also in it. Patrick McGoohan. So my oldest one, he's 10. He's like, hey, is that Old Man Marley from Home Alone? And I was like, I don't know, is it? And then I rewind the scene, and it is.
Wow, good eye.
I mean, and I'm like, who recognizes that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and he recognized his voice because if you remember, he has a very distinctive way of delivery.
Yeah.
You know, so he's clean shaven, but the delivery is the same. So he's like, "Oh, is that Old Man Marley?" And I was like, "It is. Oh my God, that's amazing, dude!" And I was telling him like that. Wow, how did you pick that up? You know, and then my 8-year-old, he's like, he looks at Clint Eastwood. He's like, "Hey, is that the guy who played Bruce Banner on the Hulk TV show?" And I'm just like, "You are such a disappointment."
That's hilarious.
And that was my experience. Then I turned the movie off. I was like, I can't,
Yeah. It's time for bed.
Yeah, go. He's like, it's 2 PM. I'm like, go to bed. But it's a good movie, is my point. If you haven't seen it, directed by Don Siegel, he did the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. He did the original Dirty Harry. It's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, if you have not seen it in a while, I would recommend checking it out.
You have to check it out. That's something I remember every now and then growing up in Chicago on Fox 32.
Sure.
On Saturday afternoon, they'd have like a movie. And I remember that being one of them. That's where the first time I saw Aliens also was like a Saturday afternoon Fox thing.
Wow.
But yeah, I specifically, for some reason, remember that being Escape from Alcatraz, like some Saturday afternoon watching that.
That's really funny. Have you seen anything lately?
Yeah. I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but did we talk about Get Out?
We haven't, and I haven't seen it yet, so don't tell me anything.
I won't say. Then I won't say anything.
However, this movie is a story completely separate from the story of the movie, which is it costs like $4 to make.
Under $5 million. Yeah,
it's extraordinary, and it's made already more than $100 million. Jordan Peele has gone overnight from comedy genius to transcendent horror director.
Yeah, writer director.
Who would have seen that coming?
Yeah. Well, I won't say anything about it other than I think it's great and you should see it. Okay,
fair enough. Yeah, I keep trying to find the time. That's really the biggest thing, because even my students are like, "You haven't seen it yet?" I'm like, "Shut up." They're like, "You haven't seen it? Get out." I'm like...
Well, we've brought this up before. I think like in the early years when we were doing this, we tried to have a Halloween episode. Yeah. And then we all realized that none of us like horror movies.
Yeah, so. that episode was not one of our finest hours, because it was like an hour and a half of us being like, "So what have you seen?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought Willy Wonka was kind of scary. It's like, I don't think that counts. There's just a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge horror guy, but I just really dug this movie. I think what's so cool about it is it just felt like a new story. And how often do you get that?
Yeah, well, and corollary to that is the micro budget approach, which is sort of Blumhouse, the production company. That's their stock and trade. It seems to be paying off in a pretty big way for them.
Yeah.
Between this and Split, right?
Split, alone. Those are like 2 of their highest grossing films they've ever done, I think.
Yeah.
What a year.
Yeah. And they've been on a slow burn for a while. The Gift last year or 2 years ago, if you remember that, this is something that we rail on the show constantly. Like, just throw less money at these movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Ones that
hard.
don't need it. Like, it's not a punishment to not give them the money. You just don't need it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. It's just smarter business, and you might end up with a better movie.
That's right. So
you listening?
This is all prelude to us
Hollywood?
announcing our production house company.
Yeah.
It's going to be called Plumhouse.
Plumhouse. Yeah.
We haven't ironed out all the details yet, but we'll get there. It's our first day. It's going to be directed by Keegan-Michael Key. So
yes.
So there.
And it'll be called Get In Here.
Get In.
A little more lighthearted.
A little bit. It's slightly different, yeah. All right, so moving on real quick, I wanted to share an interview that I did with Mikaela Hoover. You remember Mikaela Hoover?
I do.
Yeah, we had her on our show back in 2014. She had just been in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's been in a few things since then. She's been on an episode of Two Broke Girls, which is actually airing tonight as we're recording this. So you can, see it on... not on Hulu, but online and whatnot by the time you're listening to this. And, she's in the Belko Experiment. Have you seen the Belko Experiment?
No, but I'm familiar with it. The James Gunn produced.
He wrote and produced it, yeah.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So she's in that. So just came on talking about her experience on Two Broke Girls, plus the guest list, plus Belko, and a bunch of other stuff. I had a really fun time chatting with her again. So let's go ahead and play that.
Getting into the mindset of a working actor, do you ever get a comfort level when you are sort of bouncing from one ensemble to another, or is there always a sense of like, are you looking for a home?
Well, I love being, it's kind of it's a double-edged sword because I love doing guest spots. Because you come in and usually the people are so nice and you already are familiar with the show, and so it's very fun. But the double-edged sword is it's like a moving train that you have, like a fast-moving train that you have to jump onto. So it's really scary because if they're all kind of a family and a clique, and you just are guest starring on it, so you have to get on with them. And so I'd say, a lot of people say guest spots are harder than having your own show because you have to kind of get in with the tone of the show, and they've been doing it for so many years that it's tricky. You have to be quick. But I've been blessed where I've done shows that a lot of sitcoms that I love, and that the people are so nice, and I just got off Two Broke Girls, and I could not speak higher of that cast. Kat Dennings was so welcoming and so amazing. Matt Moy was already a friend of mine, so that was great. Jennifer Coolidge is a queen. She's amazing. Watching her work is incredible. Watching Kat work too. Kat is so natural and in her body. Jonathan Kite was so great. The experience on that was wonderful. And I think that, my dream is to work at Warner Brothers, to be on a show on Warner Brothers. There's something about Warner Brothers Studios that is so magical. When
Sure.
you're a little kid and you imagine what a studio's like, that's Warner Brothers. It's just, there's something when you walk on that lot that it just changes, and it's so incredibly magical. But I of course I would love to be, have my own sitcom or have my own show. I haven't gone out one time for pilot season yet, and pilot season's winding down, so I'm a little nervous. But Two Broke Girls was a straight offer.
Okay.
And that was my first straight offer for television. So it was a little scary because, they told me I didn't know really about the character. I didn't know anything. And then I knew that she had a Jersey accent. They told me that kind of last minute and all this stuff, and I was like, oh, okay. But that experience I could not have been more grateful. And then also I did the guest book.
Right.
And that, it wasn't a pilot, but it's a new show. And that was also a great experience. I got to work with Mikaela Watkins, who I really, really look up to, and I idolize her in a sense. I think that she has been able to stay true to who she is in everything that she plays, and she gives the best advice. She took such good care of me, and we were both guest starring on it. And she just really, something she kind of taught me that really stuck with me is she looked at my social media and she said, "These aren't the same person." She goes, "You're so amazing and cool and hip and she goes, "And this girl looks like a freaking boring little, Instagram model." She goes, "What are you doing? How do you know?" And I got in my head that social media was what was important, and I kind of focused on that, and I now have, over 400,000 followers and doing all this, but that's not acting. That is
Right.
the most unfulfilling, yes, there's, it's nice to be, to have that, and I guess there's something you have a social media platform, and I think that social media should be used for change, to help, but that does not fulfill you. That could go away tomorrow. It's you need to be doing what you love, and I get recognized so much from social media because all these high school students, that's all they do.
Wow.
I mean, they just are on their phone. It's completely changing. In fact, yesterday I was like, I had a baseball cap on, so gross, but was buying toilet paper on a Friday night. I'm so sexy. And these little high school students recognize me and were like, they're so enamored by that, and they think that you're living this, like, because, social media is all, you put out there what you want people to see. They don't see you at home depressed by it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's just a very weird, I know that I need to catch up with the times with it. How do you feel about it?
Well, it's funny, a few months ago, I got a blue check mark next to my name on Twitter, and I was like, oh, cool. And really, my students suddenly were in awe of me to an extent that they never had been before, as if that check mark had now elevated me beyond, and I was sort of bemused by the whole thing because I can't get a big head over something like that. But I just thought it was amusing how, again, you're talking about younger kids coming up to you. I mean, these are college kids, and it's that same idea, like, oh my, did you see Zaki? He's got a blue check mark, and it's like, guys, come on, perspective.
Yeah, and Instagram is now, and maybe it'll change, but it seems like Instagram is like what's important right now to the high school. I don't know if Twitter is as much. I don't know. The whole thing is, I don't even know if I have a Facebook page. I know that it's a very weird. It's very weird, and I know that a lot of the kids on social media that make a fortune are trying to get into the acting thing.
Right.
And, they didn't go to school for acting. They're used to doing these 6-second clips, and it's a totally different, they're not in it for the art of it.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating seeing these kids that are getting offered, the Amanda Cerny's or that are getting offered all this stuff, and they didn't study acting. They're just doing it because they do these little videos and they look hot. I don't know. It's just but I also want to keep up with the times in the way that I want to, if this is where our society is going, I guess this is where I have to be going.
Yeah, well, and I've seen you really advocate passionately about a lot of issues ever since, obviously there's been a lot of very quick social change, some would say regressive social change since the new president came in. And, I admire the fact that, for example, you posted a picture of yourself in a hijab. Yeah, and I got over, I'd say, 5,000 messages, direct messages from that. Is that right? Of people just so thankful, and the messages are beautiful. And I didn't think it. I don't know if you've seen Belko, but blink and you miss me. I'm so small in that movie, but the experience for me was, like I said, every time I put on that hijab, and it wasn't the crew's fault. They didn't. There's just a stigma in that. And there was, they weren't mean to me. They just, when I didn't have it on, I'm this like pretty girl to them that people were like, oh, here's, what would you like to eat? And there's coffee and they were so talkative and helpful. And when I had it on, they were very standoffish. It was almost like I don't even think they knew I was the same person. It was very bizarre. Well, and that in and of itself is something I can, my wife wears a scarf, and, obviously living here in the Bay Area, she's not encountered the same degree of prejudice, that other people are going through. But she has to some extent a marker telling people who she is. My heart goes out for her. I just, the kill or be killed mentality is just, we have so much, and maybe it's because of what's going on in our world right now, but there's so much negativity and hate. And I think that when you have a voice, this is what you should be doing. This is our,
people, I get so many messages of like, you're an actor, don't you just look pretty? And it's like, no, because if you have that social platform and you have the awareness and the ability, I can't really do anything on Twitter. I don't have enough followers, but I'm saying like Instagram, for instance, it's like you have to do something. You have to use that somehow. And my goal is to build my social media up even more so that I can make even more change and even more, as stupid as it sounds, the Kardashians have the power to change so much. There could be so much social awareness there. They have so many followers and they could be doing so much good, and they don't. And that's what's disgusting to me. It's like I guess I just have a totally different outlook on the entertainment business, especially because of where we are.
Would you say that your outlook has changed since you first broke in? I mean, have you found it maturing?
Oh, completely. I mean, completely. I think that I didn't have as much of a social awareness as I do now, and being Iranian, because of the times that we're in right now, has also opened my eyes. My grandparents came over from Iran and were Muslim, and I know that after 9/11 happened, they were treated so differently. And I was in an Uber when Trump was running for president, and in fact, the guy was Asian from like China or something. He spoke very broken English, and he had these Trump banners, and I'm very, into politics, so I started talking to him, and because I was interested of how an immigrant would be so pro-Trump, and getting his views, and basically none of them made sense. It's just a fear-based. I mean, that's what Trump is just putting fear in everybody's head. But he was talking to me and how he hates Hispanics and how he hates Middle Easterns and how blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I'm Middle Eastern. I'm Iranian. And he said that if he knew that, he would have never picked me up. And it was like, to be able for an immigrant to say that, I mean, it's like Trump is putting so much fear and so much hatred out there that I do think that there is a social responsibility now, and I do want to help and do whatever I can. Well,
it sounds like you've sort of been able to marry what you want to achieve out of this industry with, a remarkable social conscience.
Well, I think that's the most important thing right now with where we are. I think it's more important than anything, is to do that. So I'm excited for you to see Belko. See how you...
Yeah.
It's just such a... Don't blink. I'm in it just about as much as Guardians. But a little bit more than Guardians, of course. But it's a very... It's very gruesome.
Okay, good to know.
I wouldn't say gruesome. I'd say it's very realistic. The actors are amazing.
Yeah.
Like, they are just... The acting is unbelievable. And
can we look forward to seeing you in Guardians 2? Do you have a role in that again?
I'm not in Guardians 2. Such a bummer. But it's going to be amazing.
Well, I'm looking forward to checking that out, and I hope that you'll come back and talk to us whenever you have your next big project to promote.
Thanks for talking to me, and give your wife a hug and a kiss, and I'm so excited that you guys are having a little girl.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
Thank
Mikaela.
you so much.
Take care.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, so moving on, we do have some listener letters. Actually, we just have one listener letter, and this isn't so much a listener letter as a listener text. But I feel comfortable sharing this because it's from your friend and mine, Sean Coyle.
Heyo.
Late of the MovieFilm podcast, Sean Coyle.
Mm-hmm.
And he listened to our last episode's conversation about Logan.
Oh, man, he listens to what? We need to stop bringing him up.
I was about to say, it's a little terrifying to realize. This changes everything. I feel like I wish we could go back and do special editions of like our last year's worth of episodes. So now you may remember, just to set the context here, that Sean despised Logan. I don't think he would consider it out of line if I'm saying that he despised it, because I think that's the charitable way of describing his reaction to the film. I think you and I were overall very positive about the film.
I would say I was less enthused than what I was seeing elsewhere. Like it was effusive, all the praise for that movie,
Yes.
and I was a little like, at that.
Yes.
But I would say I liked it. Yes.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
So here's Sean's reaction to our discussion. Here we go. It sounded very much like all three of you were trying hard to convince yourselves that you weren't disappointed. Lots of, I see what they were going for, and, well, if this is the movie they wanted to make. I kept waiting for one of you to just bust out and be like, it was terrible, okay? Are you happy? And then start sobbing uncontrollably. I guess what I mean is that you all pointed out the many, many flaws, but would then be like, but I accepted it. So, I'm curious now, Brian, is that how you feel about Logan?
That's funny. It's interestingly enough, struggling with words, interestingly enough, I saw it a second time since we talked about it. And it was a very weird thing to see the movie and then literally be talking about it an hour later. Like coming home, setting up my computer, and then talking about it. Like, especially when it was a movie where, like I said, going into it, I was hearing people say, best comic book movie ever made. And I don't agree with that. And so I was confused because I thought there was a lot that it had going for it. But then, as I did mention in our conversation, I just couldn't help but compare it to other very similar stories. And so I don't know how I came off, to be honest, in the conversation. But I was somewhere I think it was a good movie, but I wasn't crazy about it. And there were things I thought that could have been done better. And maybe that came across as apologizing for it. But on second viewing, I felt like actually I was a little harder on it the first time. But on the second viewing, it was easier to distance myself from everyone else's opinions and from me. I have this thing too. I mean, where you and I talk about this a lot, where we watch so many movies that we just have this sort of thing, this formula, or a lot of references sort of drilled into our brains. And so when I watch movies, unfortunately, sometimes I just can't help but start thinking of things that remind me of it, or what I think if it did this, it would have felt a little more stronger here or there. And I know I was definitely doing that with Logan the first time. And I'd say the second time, I still don't understand the like A+ through the roof sort of thing.
Sure.
But I did enjoy it much more the second time.
Interesting.
However, I still stand by the fact that I did not connect with the father-daughter story as much as I know the movie wanted me to, and as much as I'm recognizing everyone else connecting with it. I thought it was fine. I thought it could have been stronger and more not pronounced. Like, just, it could have been handled in a different way. Like, sort of, again, I brought up The Last of Us, which is a very, very similar story
Yes.
between like the reluctant father figure and, child story. And
Yes.
and then, you can't help but think of Terminator 2 as well, where you have their sort of tearful goodbye. And I felt, even though I wouldn't want it to betray the Logan character, like he shouldn't all of a sudden become a softie, I still felt like there could have been more to be had between the two of them, to make it a more effective story for me personally, the two of them. But like I said, going into it a second time, I saw it for what it was. And even though I'm still pulling for that to have been handled maybe with a few more smaller moments, I did enjoy it. But I'm not going to like defend it or apologize for it.
Yeah.
Like I'd give it a solid, for me personally, I'd give it like a strong B+.
Yeah, that's where I landed too.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think what I said all along was it's a great farewell to Hugh Jackman's version of this character, but I don't want it to be the final word on this character.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's just too dark a place for me to want the X-Men universe to stay there as anything other than just kind of a side story.
Right.
What I do think is kind of interesting, I don't know if you saw this, but apparently James Mangold had teased the ending of Logan in The Wolverine. Did you know this?
No. This sounds familiar, like maybe I read this headline. But yeah, go on.
So there's a character in The Wolverine. This is the 2013, Wolverine solo movie, where her character is named Yukio. She's played by Rila Fukushima.
Right.
And her mutant power is that she can predict the future. But specifically, she sees the moment of your death. So she says to Logan, she says, all I can see is one part of a person's life, their death. And I saw yours. I see you on your back. There's blood everywhere. You're holding your own heart in your hand. And of course, his own heart in his hand is his daughter.
Interesting.
Now, what makes this doubly, reliable is the fact that somebody asked James Mangold, you had this set up the whole time? And he responded, well done.
Huh. Well, that's great.
That's kind of makes you want to rewatch The Wolverine a little bit.
Yeah, I remember liking that. I think we both liked that one except the third act.
Yeah, well, I
got a little
think
CGI off the rails.
I think what we said before is that it was as if the first half of Casino Royale was melded with the last half of Moonraker.
Right.
Which is basically what you ended up with. But I think now that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine tenure is in the past tense, there will always be a certain amount of fondness that we watch all of his movies with. At least that's how I feel like.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, my brother and I were talking about it on the way home. He's who I saw it with the second time, and he, like I said, he's the X-Men
He's
guy.
like a big X-Men fan, right?
Yeah, the cartoons and everything like that. And we were just saying, oh, that was the other thing we were saying. I mean, just the casting gold they got with Hugh Jackman, where it's like he can play this brutal guy, but you still love him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he can be snarling the whole time, but you're still with him.
And you have to wonder, I mean, would Dougray Scott have been... I have to assume he would have been accepted in the role because there was no point of comparison, but would he have gotten as much mileage out of the role?
Who knows? I guess I think what I'm having a hard time articulating is there's like a brutality to him, but there's still this charm that can't help but come through, and that's why it makes it all... You tolerate his behavior or his brutality. And it's just, I don't know. Hugh Jackman had it in spades. I don't know how anyone else would have done with it.
You know what? What a run.
Yeah.
What a run. Can't, and I'm sure even Sean would agree that like or dislike the movies themselves, you can't argue with how much of a meal Hugh Jackman made out of the role.
Yeah. For sure. I'm sure he would agree with that.
Now, speaking of sequels, although this is a situation where we have complete recasting as opposed to actors continuing on, our first headline for today, there's a Dragon Tattoo sequel happening finally, Brian.
Hey, it's about time.
I know you've been waiting. Every morning I wake up and there's a text from you. You're like, have they announced a Dragon Tattoo sequel yet? And every morning I have to be like, not yet. Stay strong. And then today, I just sent you a nodding gift. Who the hell's asking for a Dragon Tattoo sequel? I gotta ask.
I mean, Sony owns it.
Okay.
So I feel like, isn't that sort of the Ghostbusters thing too, where it's like...
I think people would rather see a Ghostbusters sequel than a Dragon Tattoo sequel.
Yeah, and this isn't a direct knock against the whatever reboot that just happened, but they have their properties, and they feel like they have to do something with them, right? So... like that, Ghostbusters is going to happen come hell or high water for Sony, and I feel like it's the same with this. Like, we own it. They need some franchises. All they really have is Spider-Man. So I'm not surprised that they're going to try to take another stab at this.
I guess. Did you like the first one?
Not really.
It was a little too dark.
Yeah, it was a very unpleasant movie. And like I haven't read the books. I saw the originals. And I was like, yeah, they're fine. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I didn't...
The hype around the whole
concept
hype was
crazy.
Was a little bananas. And I think that sort of did that first movie a disservice. Mm-hmm. That one came out in 2011, by the way. Like, wow. That's a long time. I get why Rooney Mara is not going to... She's not a girl anymore.
Right, yeah, that's good. What I remember about that was it looked cool and the performances were pretty good, but I just didn't care.
Yeah, that was my thing. Yeah, the movie ended, and I'm like, do I feel like revisiting these characters again? Not especially.
Yeah, exactly.
Daniel Craig was fine, but it was just, but regardless, so David Fincher, basically, the whole top tier cast kind of was priced out regardless.
Right.
And that's the biggest problem, is that the movie cost a substantial amount of money, which is we're a broken record about saying that on this show, about all these big franchise starters. They spend Return of the King money on Fellowship of the Ring.
Right.
You know, and that was Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which cost more than $100 million.
That is insane.
Yeah.
For a movie that doesn't take place in space. Like,
yeah, I mean, why? Right?
Yeah.
That's
all you need for that is like some locations.
Movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or I mean, if you want to be generous because it's a David Fincher, I mean, like
60.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, all you need is like a camera, locations, and a color timer with the button green.
Yeah.
Boom, Girl with Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah, you know, so they kind of walked into it a little bit where they spent too much, and as a result, they made too little.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, it didn't make nothing. I mean, it made about 230 something worldwide, which to me, it's odd to me that your movie made that much and you waited this long to you just make a cheaper sequel quicker.
Yeah, I wonder what that was about. I mean, it didn't necessarily set the world on fire. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, regardless, long circuitous detour around to the fact that they are not doing the girl, whatever the second one is.
Right, who played with fire, not the direct sequel in terms of the books.
Yes, because there's 3 books by Stig Larsson. He died, and then they've continued on.
Right.
So it's kind of like the Jason Bourne books that are being, I don't know who's writing them, but they've continued doing them even after Robert Ludlum died. So this is now unadapted territory, and it's the girl who plays with Legos. I don't know what's the
the Girl in the Spider's Web.
Thank you. There it is. So it's directed by Fede Alvarez, who did the Evil Dead remake. I feel like he was being mentioned in connection with something else too, wasn't he?
He did Don't Breathe also. Is
that what I'm thinking of?
I don't know, but I'd been meaning to check that out. I'd heard that was good.
Okay. Yeah, he did Don't Breathe. I guess that's the... I don't see anything on his thing other than that. So I think by extension, I mean, he's not Fincher, so that'll bring the budget down, and they're going to completely recast the role.
Yeah. Well, we'll see where this goes.
There we go.
Yeah.
One more headline. We have Man of Steel 2 is still something that's being talked about.
I look forward to that. I want another Superman movie.
I really do. And if the news we're hearing today is something that actually bears out, it'll be my first real enthusiasm about this idea. And that's hard for me to say, Brian, because you know me. I'm like a Superman fanatic. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I'm sitting here like, about a Superman movie is deeply upsetting to me.
Yeah.
On like a spiritual level.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's finally got my interest is that Warner Brothers would like Matthew Vaughn to direct Man of Steel 2.
Okay. He did what? X-Men First Class?
He did, and he did Kingsman.
Yes, which we both enjoyed, I think.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, Kingsman is very violent, but there was like a lightness to it.
Yes.
A surprising lightness. And I guess, similarly, X-Men First Class isn't really a dark movie. So it seems like a little veering in a different direction from where DC is sort of hovering right now.
Well, here's the interesting thing, because back in 2010, he was one of the people that was being linked to a Superman reboot.
Ah.
Right.
So there's history here.
Yeah, because if you remember, so what's interesting here is both Kingsman and Kick-Ass are based on comics by Mark Millar.
Right. Okay.
So
I guess I might have forgotten that about Kingsman.
Yeah. They're both Mark Millar comics, and Mark Millar was one of the people who was going to Warner Brothers and being like, hey, give me a chance to do a Superman reboot. This is before Christopher Nolan got attached and David Goyer. Mm-hmm. Right? And what's interesting is, at the time, this is what Matthew Vaughn said about doing a Superman movie. He said, I think that's the one thing not to do with Superman, trying to do the serious, the Dark Knight version. Superman is about color and fun, or it should be, for me.
Hey.
So I'm surprised that quote was not reason enough for Warner Bros. To be like, next. Because that should be a disqualifier based on what we've seen in the DCEU thus far.
Or now they're like, everyone's complaining there's no color. What to do? And then they went into their email search and just put color. Like, oh yeah, that email that he sent us.
So that quote alone gives me cause for optimism.
Yeah.
Now that's
so.
2011, so that would have been, he was probably filming X-Men First Class right around that time. And X-Men First Class, like maybe it's almost like we forget now, but I mean, certainly for me, I remember at the time it really knocked me off my feet because I thought it did such a brilliant job of kind of rescuing that franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, we had two pretty not good movies. Yeah. And, you know, the whole approach, and that was like my introduction to Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that's like Hugh Jackman in X-Men 1. You watch it and you're like, this guy's a star.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I forgot about that.
We just
Seems
watched
like so long
it.
ago.
Yeah, I mean, because Fassbender now is like part of the landscape.
Right.
But he wasn't when that movie came out.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, and you know what's funny, by the way? Fassbender, he had a choice between X-Men First Class, and you know what he was choosing between?
No.
That and the Lizard in Amazing Spider-Man. So you talk about making the right choice.
Yeah.
Right? Not to say Rhys Ifans did not do, like, fine as the Lizard, but I mean...
No, but just the projection that came from that, you know?
I mean, he launched a whole career out of being Magneto, you know? Mm-hmm. But Matthew Vaughn, I don't know if this will happen, but I do feel like the signing last week of Matt Reeves for Batman, for the Batman.
Yeah.
That to me is a sign that they're actually making an effort to play well with talent.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and to shake it up a little bit.
Yeah. Now, when does the Kingsman sequel come out? By the way.
That's a good question.
Right, that is coming out.
They haven't even had like a trailer for that yet.
Nothing, right?
I feel like I've read about it.
I've been, and what's his name is back in it.
Right. Oh, this year, October 6th.
Wow, you'd think we would have seen something.
Yeah.
Well, that's when I hope I will, you know, better its predecessor in terms of box office, at least.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
sure.
I think there's a lot of goodwill about the first Kingsman. It'll give me a reason to go back and rewatch it, to be honest. I haven't seen it in a while. But moving on, we were just talking about the DCEU, and with that in mind, let's talk some trailers.
Trailers.
Thank you. So the new final trailer for Wonder Woman dropped yesterday. Did you see it?
I did.
Okay, well, let's play some of the audio from this, and then we will discuss it.
What is this place? Who are you?
It is our sacred duty to defend the world.
Right. Whoever you are in more danger than you think.
Be careful, Diana. If no one else will defend the world, then I must.
Welcome to jolly old London.
It's hideous.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Step back. Or maybe not.
So the rapturous response online to this trailer, I wasn't feeling it. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I think I'm probably there with you. Like I'm gonna see it, and I hope it's good. But it's not like the trailer rattled my cage or anything. I don't feel like I've seen anything we haven't seen before.
That was my thing. I was like, well, it's all the same stuff. I mean, it adds, you know, some ends here and there, but it's the same thing. And
instead of the green color timing key from Dragon Tattoo, they hit the blue one.
It's true. Well, I loved all of the stuff on the island where it's so sunlit.
Yes.
And lovely. And then it just goes to it just goes to Snyderville.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, well, this is where most of the movie's going to live, so I'm not sure that's a good thing. I'm hoping it's good.
Yeah, I mean, there's things in there that definitely appealed to me. Yeah, all the island stuff looked good, and there's a little, you know, gag at the end with the revolving doors and the sword, and I mean, that's stuff I know I'm gonna get a kick out of. I hope the whole movie lives up to that, and is
I will say this,
does her well.
It tells you something about how lacking we are in the realm of awesome modern superhero themes, that electric guitar riff is like, people are popping boners over that.
You know, it's funny. I found it jarring.
Yeah, me too.
It was sort of like, it felt pasted on at the end and tonally not congruent with the first of what I just watched. You know what I mean? Like it was very weird. Like,
Like, that's where we're at. Once upon a time, you know, like, we're at a point now, think about this, where the Deadpool teaser still busts out John Williams' Superman music.
Wow, I didn't even think of it from that point of view.
Right? Because it's still, like, people don't even know that. People have not seen that movie know that's the Superman music.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, for Wonder Woman, we got...
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame.
It just didn't fit for me. It felt very weird. And I feel like I'm not the only one that thought that. I remember seeing in a few comment sections people agreeing that they were like, they were all with it. And then all of a sudden that...
And it's just, I mean, it's the Hans Zimmer thing from BVS, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right, well, anyway.
It just feels from a sillier movie or something.
Yeah. Well, speaking of sillier movies...
Yes.
Let's talk about the final... Let's talk about the final trailer for Fate of the Furious.
Yes.
Let's play some of this.
Okay.
Dominic Toretto just went rogue.
You gonna turn your back on family? I know it looks bad. Don't give up on him so easy.
We've only got one chance to make this family whole again.
Don't do this, Dom.
You ready?
One thing I can guarantee, no one's ready for this.
She's the very definition of high-tech terrorism.
There's thousands of cars in this city, and now they're all mine.
Okay, so my story with the Fast and Furious movies is that I watched the first one back in 2001, like most people did. And, you know, I was like, okay, it's fine. And then I stopped watching them, but they kept making them. Right? I was like, you know, I don't need to keep up with this franchise. I stopped watching the Bring It On movies. I stopped watching the Fast and Furious movies. Right? Okay. And then I caught up with the sixth one, and then I went back and watched the fifth one, and I watched the rest. I became sort of ensconced in the world. So I feel like I'm coming at this as a fan, is what I'm saying.
Right.
A late coming fan, but a fan. I see this trailer, and I'm trying to remind myself I like these movies.
You know, it's what was the last trailer we talked about in the previous episode where I was worried that you were going to feel differently about it, and then you're like, and I was like, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm feeling the same way because I know people are very passionate about the Fast and Furious franchise these days.
Yes,
and I think they're fine. I love 5.
Yeah,
like I really love 5.
And I watched 5 on your recommendation, and that's why, you know.
5's just a great action movie. And then 6, I remember liking, but I don't remember a damn thing about it.
Sure.
7 obviously had like a whole sort of different thing
because of the
circling
Paul Walker situation.
Right, but it was still like an enjoyable movie, but like I feel like I've kind of spent my time with that series, and the Fate of the Furious, again, I'll show up. I hope to see some bonkers stuff, but it's not something I'm anticipating.
Well, and I feel like nobody's really anticipating it.
I haven't really gotten a sense of that.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
just at all. So yeah, is that
like
what...
it feels like a very steep drop in anticipation from both the 6th one and certainly the 7th one.
Right.
You know, and I kind of use my students as a barometer for this stuff, and I don't see any real...
Interesting.
You know, it looks silly, kind of.
Well, it will be. I mean, you can't avoid it. It'll be a little weird without Paul Walker because the camaraderie between him and Vin Diesel is a huge, point of whatever that people love about those movies.
Yes.
And also, it seems like a little almost jump the sharky.
Yes.
Where it's like, Vin Diesel, he's the bad guy this time?
Yeah, it's like, well, is he really going to stay the bad guy,
Right. And it's either he isn't, which is obvious, or it's his twin, which is stupid. So, I mean, it's like, I don't know how it just seems cornball.
So we're not feeling it, but we will be talking about it in a few weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm enjoying the Charlize Theron action thing, though, ever since Mad Max. And she's got, what was the other one that there's just a trailer for her?
I should know this.
Something action, I feel like is in the title.
Action Jackson 2.
Yeah.
The Revenge.
What was that? Atomic Blonde.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen it.
From one of the directors of John Wick, and it looks very John Wick-esque in a good way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like coherent action.
So I'm calling
coherent,
it now.
impressive action.
The headlines for how many reviews are going to say Jane Wick.
Oh yeah, I mean, unavoidable.
It writes itself, right?
Yeah.
Well, moving on, we do have some Star Wars news before we get to our big spoiler conversation.
Aye.
Cue the music. All right, what do we got, Brian?
Oh, what don't we got? Well, this is kind of weird, right? We're in March now, in the same year that a Star Wars movie is coming out, and we have not seen any footage.
That's true.
But Disney shareholders were shown footage, and apparently they showed the moment directly after the ending of Episode 7, where Rey confronts Luke Skywalker on the hill.
Sure.
And apparently, according to reports, we do know what Luke's first words to her are.
Where my money?
Yes. You said 30 minutes or free. Unfortunately, it's not either of those.
Oh.
It's the more shocking and surprising. Who are you?
Oh, see, now that's interesting. See, I think it cuts the what they've told us. It leaves out that he then turns to the camera and says, "And by who are you, I mean Obi-Wan Kenobi's granddaughter."
Yeah, and they just knock all that out at the very beginning. Oh, that's her lineage. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, exactly. But he doesn't know her. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But you know what I was thinking? I was like, why not end Episode 7 with that? But then I realized but then I realized as I said that would go against the stylistic thing where you always end with music and no dialogue.
So I didn't even think about that.
I realized as I was talking here that that wouldn't work. Yeah. So anyway, they don't know each other. That's kind of a big deal, I guess.
Yeah, I mean
that's almost the extent of spoilers I want about this movie.
Yeah, I'm not interested in spoilers,
You know?
honestly. I mean, I don't mind hearing what Luke's first words to her are necessarily, but like I'm not interested if there's something that comes out about here's what it ultimately leads up to. I mean, we're already like into the year here. Like I can wait.
But would you consider a spoiler if like a beloved Star Wars character is going to be back?
I guess that it gets different for each person. I don't know that I would necessarily.
Well, then why don't you share this piece of news?
Oh, well, okay. Well, this is something that we'd have to intuit from someone's non-response. But apparently, Variety was interviewing Frank Oz, who has a film at South by Southwest. It's a documentary called Muppet Guys Talking, Secrets Behind the Show, The Whole World Watched, which, by the way, sounds like something I want to watch. And anyway, they were asking him if he might reprise his role as Yoda in Episode 8, and this is his exact quote. I feel like I'm a prisoner at war here, and I can only give you my name, rank, and serial number. To be true to the people who asked me, and they are kind of my family, I have to say I've been asked not to talk about it. I love Yoda. I would be happy to talk to you about it at the time they let me.
So he's in Episode 7. So he's in Episode 8 as Yoda, is what that means.
Yeah, but don't you kind of feel bad for the guy? Like, I mean, he should have, instead of the response he gave, he should have been like, can't talk about it.
Should have been like, no comment with a smile. That would have been enough.
Yeah. But here he's like, I can't talk about it till they tell me I can talk about it. Which one could imagine implies that Yoda might be a character in.
Yeah, in some capacity. Here's my prediction. I think his Yoda's role in this will be the same as his role in Episode 7, which is a wayward voiceover.
Oh, that would be really funny if that was all it was, and he's being sort of cheeky here.
Yeah, because technically he's involved, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
that'd be interesting. I mean, it would be... I mean, of course you could have him come back as a Force ghost, but if that's the case, I mean, there's sort of like... It almost makes this unlimited ability to bring back all these other characters, which feels like then there's nothing finite.
This is true, but I mean, I've said this before. Wouldn't you kind of want to see Liam Neeson back as a Force ghost?
I would. Funny enough, I wasn't going to bring this up, but my girlfriend and I watched Phantom Menace last night.
Sure.
And I have not seen that all the way through. I don't even know when. Like, I mean, it's been years and years and years. And I had that very thought. I was like, man, like I was watching Liam Neeson talk very seriously to, Anakin's mother. And I was like, he's going for it.
Yeah.
Like, in spite of Jar Jar, his antics around him and him having to catch his tongue and all that, like, he's really trying to do it. And I was like, what an interesting character. And it's a shame that we didn't get more of him.
It's true.
So I'm with you on that. Yeah, it would be interesting. But then it's like, is Anakin going to come back as a Force ghost?
I think we're more likely to see Anakin as a Force ghost than Liam Neeson.
Do you think they would ever bring back Hayden Christensen to reprise that role? Or do you think that's something that they're trying to avoid?
I'm willing to bet that Hayden Christensen will be in The Last Jedi. That's my prediction.
Interesting.
I mean, I have nothing to base that on. I don't know anything. I know as much as you do, but that's my prediction.
It's funny because I had a friend that was asking me that with episode 7, and I was like, not going to happen. Not going to happen. And you know what? And I stand by that, even though it's easy for me to say that now because it came out. But with 7, there was so much that they had to win everyone over and be like, no, you're going to dig what we're doing. And now that they have everybody, I guess they could, if they felt like it was creatively what they wanted to do, they could go out on a limb like that and risk putting, someone that could rock the boat a little bit if they feel like it's the right choice, right?
But beyond even that, I mean, the story possibilities of old man Luke, conversing with the Jedi ghost of his father. I mean, that's kind of, I want to see that conversation, Isn't
that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be like his teenage dad.
Yeah, I mean, there's something visually very interesting about that. It's also funny that I keep saying Liam Neeson as opposed to Qui-Gon Jinn.
I thought it was Liam Neeson.
Yeah, it's funny. There's this TV
Liam
show.
Neeson's.
They turned Taken into a TV show. Have you seen this?
I know that they did. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it, but somebody's been talking about it. But somebody made this comment, which I thought was very funny. Like why would they think people are interested in that property without Liam Neeson? Right. And the comment somebody made, which I thought was very funny, was, the franchise can't withstand a change in lead if we refer to the lead character as the actor.
Right.
Because we're like, oh man, when Liam Neeson kills that guy, like in Taken, they kidnap Liam Neeson's daughter. What's his name? I don't know his name.
That's a really funny point.
Right? And it's the same thing with like Transporter.
Right, Jason Statham.
It's Jason Statham. Oh, when Jason Statham kills that guy, we're not like whatever dude who was in the sequel that wasn't Jason Statham,
Yeah.
So it's Liam Neeson Jedi, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah. We don't know the transporter's name. Did he have a name? Like Ghibli Biggins?
It's hold on. It's Frank something.
Yeah.
It's Frank something. I know that.
Frank Rizzo.
Without looking it up, it's Frank something, but I don't feel moved to Google that up.
Yeah.
We're going to get like 20 tweets now from people.
Hey, sure.
It's Frank Jackson, jackass, whatever his name.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about young Anakin. There's some more news there.
Yeah, so you and friend of the show, Michael Olson, turned me on to the Marvel Star Wars comics.
Yes.
And I really dig them. And I read the ones that involve Luke and Han and Leia. And then I started the Darth Vader one, and I recognized like there was some cool stuff happening in them, but I sort of dropped out of it. I don't know why. But apparently that one wrapped up because I didn't end up finishing it. But they're going to do a post-prequel comic series that picks up 1 second after the end of Revenge of the Sith. So that sounds kind of interesting. I mean, I'd be willing to... It's one of those things where I feel like I don't have the energy to check into that every month.
That's like read Wikipedia periodically to see what has been added.
Yeah, or every now and then if someone tells me it's good, I'll pick up a trade or something.
Well, first of all, it's written by Charles Soule, who's a good writer, and I have no doubt that it'll be interesting. But it's like, oh, we're going to find out how he got the red lightsaber. And I'm like, how about he just got the red lightsaber? Like, is that not explanation enough? Like,
you and I bond over that. Like, we adore Star Wars. It's very important.
Yeah.
Part of our, creative lives. But at the same time, we have like the same sort of threshold for how much we want to dig into the universe.
Yeah,
Which is kind of funny.
It's
we like poking around the edges a little bit, but we don't go for those like deep out of the cinematic experience dives.
Yeah, it's this because when they're like 1 second after Revenge of the Sith, that like makes me, I get tired when I read that. That's
funny because that was an interesting point for me. I was like, well, I'm kind of curious.
I mean, but like I don't. That's like one issue of story, is what I.
Yes,
say. You know what I mean.
Sort of like when they did the Obi-Wan one-off in the other one, where it was like, what's Obi-Wan up to on Tatooine in between when we see him? I'm like, I'm interested in that. Like, sure. I don't need to check in monthly on it, but I would like to hear that little story.
Now that being said, I have yet to be disappointed by any of the Marvel Star Wars output. So I have no reason to think this won't be, at the very least, solid.
Sure, yeah.
You know? So, I mean, do we have an arrival date on this? Do we know when this is coming out?
That's funny you say that, because I literally just closed the tab.
Okay. So, it's coming soon.
Yeah. Wait, hold on, I'm scrolling down. I got it back. It will arrive in June.
Okay, there you go. So
a couple months.
And then a few months later, we'll be talking about The Last Jedi. So,
yeah. Man, very quickly.
It's
going to be coming fast, I think.
Well, what's weird is that we're now in kind of year-round blockbuster season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is kind of new, and that leads us into our big spoiler conversation for this episode.
Yeah.
So, our big release this week is Kong Skull Island. And this is directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts. It's released by Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures, and it's the second movie in the big MonsterVerse shared universe that started in 2014 with Godzilla.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, we know that because we read these sites and whatnot, but it doesn't seem like they've made a huge hullabaloo of connecting this or announcing their intentions of that, right?
I mean, well. Insofar as this film's connection to Godzilla, you mean?
Yeah, like it doesn't seem like Warner Brothers is trying to let everyone know necessarily that this is connected to the same universe of that.
Well,
right?
I don't think they've gone out of their way to promote it, but nor have they hidden the connection. I mean, it's all there in the film. I think part of that though might be the fact that Godzilla just did okay.
Yeah.
Right, it wasn't like a massive hit. So, and it did well, but relatively speaking, if you remember, it was very, very front-loaded. Because it made something like $90 million its opening weekend, but domestically it didn't even crack 200, as I recall.
Oh, wow.
Right, which is very rare.
So, yeah, I mean, to kick off with that number.
So in other words, the drop-off was pretty substantial. And so in many ways, this film serves as a prequel, but it also kind of serves as a reset, kind of a thematic reset. Because it's pretty different from Godzilla.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I've seen it. You've seen it.
Yep.
And so I figure let's as usual let's do our non-spoiler reactions and then we'll kind of get into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll start if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So I went and watched this with my two older kids. So my 10-year-old, my 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
My 8-year-old, he saw Kong and he's like, "Hey, isn't that the guy from? Didn't he play Bruce Banner on TV?" And I was like, "God damn it! Just stop. No.
Hey, you got me.
No. But what I did do is before this one came out, we watched King Kong 1976,
which I've never seen.
And that's I'd be very curious about your reaction to that because I have a lot of fondness for that film.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that is because I was like 7 or 8 when I saw it the first time.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like in the sweet spot for that film. But I think it's got a great score. I think Jeff Bridges is really good in it. Jessica Lange, who was so hot in that movie. I had the biggest crush on her. Right? Mm-hmm. And so I think the reason I like it, the reason I like Kong 76, and I spent actually a lot of time talking about this on an episode of the Film and Water podcast with Rob Kelly. So if you folks are interested in more of me sort of waxing nostalgically about this film, you can check that out. It's different. It's different from the 1933 one. That's why I like it. In the sense that, the 33 film is a classic, and at the very least when they remade it, they tried to mix it up. They updated it to the present. And what I dislike about Peter Jackson's very laborious, 3.5 hour excursion is that it's so in love with the source material that he lacks the distance to be critical with it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when I was like, okay, I want to watch a Kong movie with the boys before we go see this new one, I was like, well, the 30s one might lose them because it's the effects and things are a little bit dodgy,
Mm-hmm.
The Peter Jackson one, I'm like, I don't have the ability to invest 3
like literally 3+ hours.
Yeah,
right?
I'm like, I don't have that in me, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why we kind of landed on Kong 76. But the boys really liked it. And so I was very excited to take them with me to the screening because I was like, they are the exact age where I was just a King Kong fanatic. I loved King Kong when I was a kid, you know? And so for me, part of the fun, as you know, again, recurring theme on this show, part of the fun was getting to experience this movie through their eyes. And they had a blast.
Nice.
They really enjoyed it. And I did too. I was like, man, this is like Saturday afternoon WPWR monster movie.
Yes, yeah.
Right? With a bigger budget.
Yeah.
And so that's like my initial reaction to the film. Now the story is not doing the same old thing. It's doing something different, which is also refreshing, and it's not a sequel to any other previous Kong movie. Because that's another thing I've said is because they've you know, like they did a sequel to the 76 Kong, where it turns out he didn't die, he just needed a heart transplant.
Really?
Yeah, and they did it. Linda Hamilton's in that movie actually.
Oh, funny.
Post Terminator, Linda Hamilton, so she didn't need the money.
Wait, what year is this?
86.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, post first Terminator, pre second Terminator.
Huh.
Right. So my thing is like, look, once Kong falls off that building, that's it. End of story. You don't go past that.
Yeah.
You know. So this one, refreshingly, he doesn't fall off a building.
Right.
Right. And they're very deliberately seeding the terrain for Kong or Godzilla v Kong, which is coming in 2 years. Which again, I'm hoping. I said this in my review. I'm really hoping that they're going to fight first. And then at one point, one of them is going to kill the other until one of them is like, save Mothra.
Dude, that's brilliant.
I want that to be how they team up.
Why did you say that name?
That's the movie I want. But it should be all subtitles because they just grunt, right?
That would be... Oh, man. You got to do that. You got to make that.
It's got just subtitles.
Post that somewhere.
So that, you know, my reaction to this movie was as like inner child Zaki. I thought that it was exciting and scary, but like the right amount of scary where if you're a relatively young kid, it's not going to like horrify you. And yeah, you know, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. I know people are like, oh, the cast isn't really developed. And I'm like, we're not watching this movie for the characters.
Yeah.
We're watching it for the monkey on monster action.
Right.
I mean, in my opinion, we got it. But I have no idea what you thought of this, so I'm actually very curious.
I'm pretty much right there with you. Like, you know, to sort of give my history or whatever, because I think it's important. Like, I'm not a huge monster movie guy.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really grow up with them. I don't get a lot out of them. Like, you put one in front of me and I'll be like, yeah, okay.
Sure.
You know? So I wasn't super excited to watch this, if I'm being honest. It was something I would catch someday on cable maybe, but I just didn't feel like I got to rush out and see this. But my brother, he does like monster movies, and he's like, let's go see Kong. And I knew we would be talking about it. I was like, all right, let's go. I had a blast. Like, this movie is such a blast. And the thing about it is exactly what you said. This is an inner child movie.
Yeah.
The characters act in broad strokes. Like, the villain is very villainy.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't hold that against the movie because that's what it is.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's totally corny, but perfectly so. There's a moment, I don't even know if this is spoilery, so I guess I won't say it. I'll get into it after the spoiler thing.
I mean,
but there's a moment.
Do we want to?
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's a moment that happens in this movie that's so preposterous, but it's so great. You know what I mean?
I wonder if we're thinking of the same thing. I'm actually curious.
Probably.
We might be.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like total goofball movie, but like totally a blast. So I had a really good time with it.
All right, so let's do some spoilers.
Spoilers.
So for me,
yes,
there's a part of the movie. So the whole time, so they go to the island, right? We have Sam Jackson as Angry Sam Jackson. I think that's the name. That's the name of the character, Colonel Angry Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
And his whole arc is kind of ridiculous because basically he's like, we lost Vietnam because of Nixon. I'm not going to lose Skull Island because of King Kong, even though it's not even remotely a comparable situation. But you got to roll with it. So and then we have Toby Kibble. is like the guy, whatever his name is, who he has all the weapons.
Yeah.
The missiles and whatnot. So Sam Jackson's like, we gotta find Jackson or whatever his name is.
Dear Billy, we need to find Jackson.
Right. I forget the character's name. Toby Kibble.
Yeah.
Former Doctor Doom. So what happened? What I thought was like, this is like a perfect summation of this movie is where the character is looking for him, and then we have this giant monster that basically hacks up his chewed up skull with his dog tags.
Yes, with his dog tags.
That was the part where I busted out laughing because I was like, that's convenient.
You know what's funny is that I didn't even think about. That's not even the moment I'm talking about. But like that is like so. That's what this movie is.
Yeah.
But in such a giddy, fun way.
Yeah, exactly. You know
what I mean? Like, and it's funny too because when we talk about the characters not being strong, and they're not, but like at the same time, I did feel bad every time we lost one.
Yes, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? Like I thought the movie succeeded in me not wanting anyone to die, but they're not. It's interesting. I mean, let's just talk about Tom Hiddleston.
Sure.
Like he's
action hero Tom Hiddleston making his Action Man debut.
Yeah, but he made zero impact on me. I don't know about you.
I agree. I mean,
it's interesting. And then even when I felt like they were sort of teasing a sort of romance between him and Brie Larson, I was like, this is not happening. Move on.
Yeah, right.
Like there's like zero chemistry.
Here's what I'll say about both of them. I think that in the hands of lesser actors, those characters would have been entirely disposable.
Yes, and you know, and that's not a knock against either of them. I truly, because I love Brie Larson.
I think they elevated the material to the extent that they at least.
Oh, totally.
You know, like I don't remember their names. I remember them as Tom Hiddleston and Brie Larson, but
yeah, she's
like
fine.
them.
She's not given a lot to do, but like you said, she's memorable because she's Brie Larson.
Right, exactly.
And then, but Tom Hiddleston, I didn't really care. But if I had been sort of. He didn't make much of an impression, but they did give him like a cool moment with a gas mask and a samurai sword.
Yeah, that's like his one moment. I almost wonder if that was in his contract.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing, I want a samurai sword and do something crazy, and they're like, all right, like it's written
we'll
in, you know, make sure that's in there, you know.
Yeah, and then the moment I was going to talk about that was preposterous was John Goodman when they're in that sort of like bone graveyard sort of thing, like from The Lion King. And he's taking those pictures, and his flash won't stop flashing, so he gets eaten by one of those dinosaur monsters.
Right.
And then the flash keeps going off inside of the dinosaur.
Right.
And it's funny because, I mean, how thick is that thing's skin? But yet we can still see the flash going off through it. But it creates this awesome moment where they can't see the dinosaur, but through the fog they can see the flash continuing to go off, so they know where the monster is.
Right.
And I actually turned to my brother and I was like, I love this. Like, it's just so ridiculous, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
That was a fun moment.
I mean,
but
I think just to pick up on that, I mean, I think that it really zeroed in on what people want to see from a movie like this. And that's not, it's not King Kong ice skating. Remember that? Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just like get to Kong beating the shit out of another monster.
Yeah,
you know.
Actually, it's funny you say that because that's probably one of the few memorable moments I remember from that movie.
I remember it as being interminable. I was like, God, like,
funny!
Climb the building and fall off. I want to go home tonight. That was me.
I remember liking that moment because it was a sweet moment that I believed between him and Naomi Watts, and then the violence happened in the middle of that moment, which made it jarring, and then led to the whole climax. Like that's probably the only. That like last 40 minutes is probably the only part of that movie that I remember and like.
The thing for me, and I don't want this to turn into like, let's just pile on.
Redissecting Peter Jackson.
Yeah, but I think, you know, after watching this, one thing because I went back and I watched bits and pieces of that one, I'm like, I think one of the big mistakes he made is he just made Kong a giant gorilla. And Kong isn't an ape-like creature.
Right.
But he's ape-ish. He's not an ape.
Right.
And if you look at the way he is in this, he looks closer, in my opinion, to the way Kong looks in the 1930s one, where he's kind of monsterish, which is what makes more sense, you know?
Yeah.
The other thing I thought was really interesting was that there, in all the previous depictions, there's this vaguely racist depiction of the natives on the island. They're all like ooga booga, you know?
Right.
And it's like hard to watch now.
Right.
And what I like here is that they totally flipped that because the natives live in peace with Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And the wall is not to keep Kong out, it's to keep all those other monsters out.
Right.
And Kong is their protector. Like, I love that stuff. I love that the makers of this movie are kind of thinking big picture in terms of the world. And it's like you got to have, even though Kong is a monster, you have to root for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it makes total sense. Yeah, I was just about to bring that up, actually, is the John C. Reilly character.
Oh, he's so great. He stole it. He walked away with it. He showed up, he just walked away with it.
You know, and I know personally I've said, you know, oh, it's goofy, but it's fun goofy. And it is. But what's funny about it is, like you were saying earlier, I mean, it walks a very delicate line because goofy can be dismissively dumb.
Yeah.
You know, but on the other hand, something that takes itself too seriously. Like, it's hard to be a movie that has fun with, you know, monster kills and that, whatever, but still make you sort of care and, like, invest even a little bit in the story. And the John C. Reilly character and his relationship with the natives and that whole thing, I was like just totally on board with it. Like, I really bought it and I was really invested in it. Like, his unique, I thought he could have, that's the other thing too. He could have been this silly, just like sort of punchline character.
Right.
But he did have some funny lines and some funny moments, but they all were kind of grounded the story if it was going to be grounded at all. Right. Like, I think it's almost like perfectly summed up in his last line to them where he's just like, you know, saying goodbye to them. He's like, well, if you're ever in Chicago.
Right.
You know, because it's silly and funny. It's absurd, you know, somewhat their relationship. But at the same time, he just spent like 40 years with them. Right. You know, and it's kind of a sweet thing at the same time. And that's the weird balance that this movie pulled off for me.
Yeah.
Enough to care and enough to be able to sort of clap and laugh as crazy things are happening.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you think? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Did you enjoy the 70s setting of it? I mean, it's interesting that they placed it back in time.
I thought it was clever in the sense that, because I was viewing it contextually in terms of this monster universe that they're building, right? And Monarch, which is John Goodman's organization, the first time we saw them was in Godzilla in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So for me, I was more like, oh, this is like their origins, and I thought that was really interesting.
Right.
So for me, I'm thinking that there's a reason they placed it back then. I don't know what that reason is, but I'm assuming that that's going to become more clear as we move on, you know?
Yeah, because at the end, I mean, we can talk about the stinger, right? At the end of the trailer, it's after they've been rescued, or at least the people who survive, the Tom Hiddleston character and Brie Larson, they're in this sort of one-way mirror room where the previous science characters come in and are just like, oh, it's bigger than this, and it's like almost like a direct lift of the Nick Fury, sort of Avengers recruiting scene.
Yeah,
and so it's like, are we going to revisit these characters again, or are we going to move forward into the future at some point?
Well, if the next movie is Godzilla 2, I forget who's directing that, actually. It's somebody semi-known, I think. It's Michael Dougherty. It's Michael Dougherty, who did Krampus.
Oh, okay.
So he's mainly known as a screenwriter because he wrote X2 and like Superman Returns. But regardless, I'm assuming that that's going to be set in the here and now.
Right.
So I'm assuming then that Godzilla vs. Kong would also be set in the present. So yeah. I don't know. You know, that's a good question. I will say this. I went back and watched Godzilla yesterday. And, just to see all the ways that, both of these movies kind of feed off each other. And the tonal shift is very noticeable.
Right.
Because Godzilla,
Gareth Edwards.
Gareth Edwards. It's very serious. It's very dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it, but I do feel like tonally I preferred where Kong went, which is a little bit more gonzo.
Yeah.
I think maybe Godzilla, it was important for it to be serious and set a serious tone before they kind of went a little crazier, but and this is like my third time through watching it now, and by the end is like hard to, you can't see what's going on.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember that. I saw it in the theater once.
Yeah.
And I remember it was visually impressive, but I don't Yeah, I remember a ton about it.
Yeah.
But this one was pretty visually interesting too, I thought.
Yeah, they filmed it in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Instead of a soundstage, you know?
I mean, it totally has like an Apocalypse Now vibe.
Yeah, you can tell
going.
Jordan Vogt Roberts probably had his Blu-ray of Apocalypse Now with him. He was like checking it, before shooting.
Yeah.
And I don't say that in a derogatory way. I mean, I think it's very clear he's a fan, and I love the idea of trying to weave that influence into something silly like this,
Totally. There was a lot of like memorable visuals in this. I mean, one of the more like B-roll-ish of it was the helicopters in slow-mo, which looked really cool. But also when they first see Kong in the helicopter and he grabs the helicopter and is whipping it around, and the camera stays in the helicopter as it's spinning, and you can see Kong through the the door. That was really pretty cool. Yeah,
I think, and this Kong is massive, by the way. He's like, because traditionally he's like 30, 40 feet. This is like 100 feet tall.
Right.
So that's also very interesting because it's still, the size differential with Godzilla is still such that I don't know how they're going to make that work, but they're already planning for that, clearly.
Yeah.
Also, it was nice to see Dr. Dre and Eazy-E together again.
Yeah, totally.
Both of them made it, which is also nice.
Yeah.
So thumbs up for Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, like it's a total, I mean, it's a cliche to say, but it's a total popcorn flick. If you're just looking to have like a fun sort of popcorny time, like you said, like on a Saturday afternoon, like I think people will have fun with it.
What I said in my review, and I stand by it, it's smart enough to know when to be silly.
Yeah.
Because
perfect.
It's dumb in a fun way and in a knowing way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's a good place to leave this discussion.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap things up, Brian, anything new that you want to hype up for the audience while we got you?
Yeah, just at this point, we'll just go with MovieFilm.
All right. You have some fun stuff cooking. I'm hoping to hear about it soon.
Yeah, definitely.
So, as for me, you can find me at my website, zakiscorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter and also my Instagram. You can also find me at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews go up regularly, as does this show. Look for a new Nostalgia Theater podcast coming soon. I've hit a slight snag with the most recent episode, but that will be up shortly. And we will be back in a few weeks talking about, well, I don't know. What are we going to be talking about, Brian?
Man, I don't even know what's coming up.
We got some fun stuff. We might have... well, let's see. I don't know.
Something good to talk about.
Well, I'm sure we can fill the time.
Yeah.
And we still got to do that Return of the Jedi commentary track, by the way.
Oh, dude. I'm ready right now.
I'm hoping that this baby holds off from showing up just long enough for us to at least get that done.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens with that. But regardless, please do hit up iTunes and Stitcher Radio. Wherever you find podcasts, leave a review, leave a star rating. Every little bit helps. I say this every episode, and I mean it. Just go to iTunes. Even if you can't leave a review, just leave a star rating. It's even better if you leave a review, but just that star rating is good too. So please do that. Let people know that you dig the show. And, one thing I'm always very grateful for is that our back catalog of episodes is always very vibrant. The people are going back and checking out episodes from 2, 3, 4 years ago.
It's cool.
Which is really crazy, and I'm grateful for that. So please keep the kind words coming, and the critical words. We want those too. And until we talk to you again, this has been MovieFilm 114. My name is Zaki Hassan on behalf of Brian Hall. Thanks for listening.
Welcome, friends. It's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast. Enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.